Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. GST Council decides to clear entire compensation dues of around 17,000 crore rupees to states, lowers rates on liquid jaggery, pencil sharpener and tax tracking devices. Home Minister Amit Shah says country has seen 80% reduction in violence from terrorism in Kashmir, insurgency in the northeast and left-wing extremism under the Narendra Modi government. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds discussions with his Australian counterpart Penny Wong in Sydney, exchange perspectives on Indo-Pacific, Quad and G20. Mahashivratri being celebrated across the country with religious fervour and gaiety. President Draupadi Murmu attends celebrations at Isha Yoga Centre in Coimbatore. In cricket, Australia was 61 for 1 in their second innings against India at Stumps on day 2 of second test in Delhi. And in Women's T20 Cricket World Cup, England set a target of 152 against India in Gqeberha, South Africa. The Goods and Services Tax GST Council has decided to clear the entire due on the pending balance of the GST compensation to the states as of today. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said this while addressing media after chairing the 49th meeting of GST Council in New Delhi today.
The entire pending balance of the GST compensation, which is a total of 16,982 crores, for June that will be cleared. We have decided to release this amount from our own resources, and the same amount will be recouped from the future compensation cess collection.
Ms. Sitharaman also said with this release, the centre would clear the entire provisionally admissible compensation cess dues for 5 years as envisaged in the GST Compensation to States Act 2017. The Finance Minister also announced to lower the GST rates on liquid jaggery and tax tracking devices. She said GST rate on pencil sharpener has been reduced to 12% from existing 18%.
So we are reducing the GST rate on RAB, which is liquid jaggery, from 18 to nil or 5%. Nil if it is loose, or if it is pre-packaged and labelled, it will be 5%. Also, there is a reduction in GST on tax tracking devices or data loggers, which are affixed on durable containers, from 18% to nil, subject to some conditions.
The Finance Minister also announced GST exemptions on coal rejects when they are supplied to and by a coal washery, and GST exemptions from services by the National Testing Agency for conducting entrance examinations for admission to educational institutions. She also said the Council has decided to rationalize the late fee on delayed filing of annual returns on GSTR 9 for 2022-23 onwards for small taxpayers with an annual turnover of up to 20 crore rupees. She said the GST Council decided to tax services applied by courts and tribunals under the reverse charge mechanism. She said the recommendation of another GOM on establishment of GST Appellate Tribunal has been accepted with change in language, and the modification in draft will be circulated in the next 5 to 6 days. Union Home and Cooperation Minister Amit Shah has said all decisions taken by the Narendra Modi government are directed towards larger public welfare. He was addressing an event organized by the Lokmat Media Group in Nagpur to celebrate the birth centenary of founder, editor and freedom fighter Jawaharlal Darda today. Listing out the achievements, Mr. Shah said almost in all core areas from defence and space to manufacturing, the country has made rapid progress. He said there has been 80% reduction in violence from terrorism in Kashmir, insurgency in the northeast and ultra-left movement under the Modi government.
जो हुर्रियत भारत सरकार को नचाती थी, वो हुर्रियत पर बैन कर उसके कार्यालय को सील कर दिया गया। हर एक प्रकार की वामपंथी उग्रवादियों की हिंसा में 80% की एवरेज कमी हुई। नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हिंसा 90% समाप्त। 60% नॉर्थ ईस्ट से आज अफसफा हटा लिया है, वहां शांति हो गई।
Later addressing a cooperative conference in Pune this evening, Mr. Shah said a new cooperatives policy will be unveiled soon to strengthen the cooperative sector in the country. While making it clear that no injustice would be meted out to the cooperative sector, Mr. Shah also called for introspection to understand the exact developments in the sector. He said it is the responsibility of all to eliminate corruption in the sector and appealed to all stakeholders to share their responsibility on this front. Mr. Shah enlisted the important decisions taken since the inception of the Cooperatives Ministry. He said Maharashtra has been an epicenter of the cooperative movement. He invoked Vitthal Patil, Vaikunt Mehta and Tribhuvan Bhai Patel, who accelerated the cooperative movement. Mr. Shah highlighted the fact that more than 2 lakh out of total around 8.5 lakh cooperatives are in Maharashtra. In a major success in curbing terrorist activities, police in South Kashmir district arrested 3 terrorists of proscribed Hizbul Mujahideen terror outfit and recovered arms and ammunition from their possession. Police said, based on specific inputs regarding movement of anti-national elements carrying illegal arms and ammunition in a vehicle last evening in Kulgam area, police parties established a checkpoint at the Adarkot Alamganj crossing and intercepted 3 persons riding a motorcycle. During searches, arms and ammunition including 1 pistol, 2 pistol magazines and 13 live pistol rounds were recovered from their possession. The trio were arrested and have been shifted to police station where they remain in custody. In Meghalaya, Assembly elections campaigning has reached a feverish pitch as star campaigners and senior leaders of all political parties are holding multiple public meetings and rallies. Polling will be held on the 27th of this month for all 60 Assembly segments in the state. More from our correspondent.
Senior BJP leader and Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, while addressing a public meeting near Indo-Bangladesh border in Bagmara Assembly segment, claimed that BJP is the only party which can fulfill the dream of developed Meghalaya. BJP leader and Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma, addressed election rallies in Mendi Pathar and Resu Belpada Assembly segments in North Garo Hills area. NPP senior leader and Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma addressed rally in Ukiam in Rambarai Jirangam Assembly constituency. Addressing a public meeting in Milliam Assembly constituency, TNC leader Abhishek Banerjee said his party is the only political outfit which walked the talk. Senior Congress leader Mukul Vasnik and Vincent Achpala addressed public meetings in Mendi Pathar and Mairang Assembly constituencies. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Shillong.
Chief Electoral Officer Nagaland V. Shashank Shekhar has expressed confidence on the overall preparation of the entire state election machineries and that it will conduct a smooth and free and fair election. Speaking exclusively to AIR News on the poll preparedness in Nagaland, Mr. Shekhar said several rounds of training for district election officers, returning officers, polling parties and EVM nodal officers have been conducted, while electronic voting machines were dispatched to the respective districts and stored in strong rooms. He also apprised that the election office is constantly in touch with different stakeholders and holding meetings with political parties as well as with the enforcement agencies, police and administrative machinery. Mentioning some unique features of the upcoming election, Mr. Shekhar informed that many village councils have voluntarily come forward and passed resolutions for a free and fair election, whereby the village councils have decided not to accept any inducement or indulge in any kind of electoral malpractice. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Mahashivratri is being celebrated across the country today with religious fervour and gaiety. Devotees worship Lord Shiva, the destroyer of evil, on the occasion. In Uttar Pradesh, lakhs of devotees took a holy dip in rivers on the occasion. People also took a holy dip in the Sangam, the confluence of 3 holy rivers, marking the end of Magh Mela. In Madhya Pradesh, a crowd of devotees is thronging various temples from Mahakal in Ujjain to Omkareshwar Jyotirlinga in Khandwa. In Sri Lanka, devotees thronged the historic Panch Ishwaram temples, Ponnam Balvaneshwarar Devasthanam Kovil in Colombo and several others in large numbers. In Nepal, all 4 doors of Pashupatinath temple in Kathmandu were opened from 3 a.m. today and lakhs of devotees are offering prayers. Shankaracharya Nishchalanand Saraswati of Jagannath Puri-based Govardhan Mutt, who arrived there at the invitation of Pashupati Area Development Trust on the occasion of Mahashivratri, performed a special worship and inaugurated the Adya Shankaracharya temple located in front of the Pashupatinath temple and delivered a sermon. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended greetings to the people on Mahashivratri. Union Minister Amit Shah and Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur also wished people on the occasion. President Draupadi Murmu, who is on a 2-day visit to Tamil Nadu, is attending the Shivratri celebration at the Isha Yoga Center, Coimbatore. The President visited the ancient Meenakshi Amman temple at Madurai this afternoon. Tomorrow she will be interacting with the trainees at the Madras Regimental Center at Wellington Nilgiris. She will also offer floral tributes at the center. Later the President will leave for New Delhi. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held wide-ranging discussions with Australian Minister for Foreign Affairs Penny Wong at Sydney Harbour today. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said both exchanged perspectives on the Indo-Pacific strategic picture, progress in the Quad, G20 developments and their respective neighbourhoods. Dr. Jaishankar noted the forward movement on bilateral agenda and also emphasised the need for vigilance against radical activities targeting the Indian community. Dr. Jaishankar also met Minister of Climate Change and Energy of Australia, Chris Bowen, and discussed climate financing, loss and damage, and the need for greater collaboration. The discussion also focused on securing renewable energy technology and supply chains. Earlier in the day, Dr. Jaishankar called on Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and apprised him of the recent developments related to the strategic partnership between the two countries. He said the discussions reflected the full spirit of strategic partnership between the two countries. He added that they also discussed cricket. He conveyed the personal greetings of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the Australian Prime Minister. In another event, Raisina at Sydney Business Breakfast, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said in today's global landscape, like-minded countries need to work together to de-risk economy, rise to the challenges of the digital world, and build relationships that serve as stabilizers for the economy. In men's cricket, Australia was 61 for 1 in their second innings against India at Stumps on day 2 of the second test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy at Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. Earlier, India resumed their first innings at the overnight score of 21 and they were all out on 262 runs in the post-T session today. For the hosts, Akshar Patel was the highest scorer with 74 runs. For Australia, Nathan Lyon bagged 5 wickets. Yesterday, Australia, who won the toss and opted to bat, scored 263 runs in their first innings. The Indian team had won the first test and now aim for a 2-0 lead, while Australia will be trying to level the 4-match series. In Women's T20 World Cup, England have set a victory target of 152 runs for India at St. George's Park at Kebelha, South Africa. England scored 151 runs for 7 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. In reply, India were 84 for 3 in 13.3 overs when reports last came in. For England, Nat Sahiba Brunt scored 50 runs. For India, Renuka Singh scalped 5 wickets. Earlier, India had won the toss and elected to bowl. Currently, England are in the top of Group B with 2 wins from 2 matches, while India are second, only behind on net run rate. A win would effectively take India into the knockout stage. The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI, has directed telecom service providers, TSPs, to take urgent steps to demonstrate visible improvement in quality of service and quality of experience by consumers. As per the Ministry of Communications, the authority held a meeting with major TSPs yesterday in New Delhi. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. GST Council decides to clear entire compensation dues of around 17,000 crore rupees to states, lowers rates on liquid jaggery, pencil sharpener and tags tracking devices. Home Minister Amit Shah says country has seen 80% reduction in violence from terrorism in Kashmir, insurgency in the northeast and left-wing extremism under the Narendra Modi government. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds discussions with his Australian counterpart Penny Wong in Sydney, exchange perspectives on Indo-Pacific, Quad and G20. Mahashivratri being celebrated across the country with religious fervour and gaiety. President Draupadi Murmu attends celebrations at Isha Yoga Centre in Coimbatore. In cricket, Australia was 61 for 1 in their second innings against India at Stumps on day 2 of second test in Delhi. In Women's T20 Cricket World Cup, England set a target of 152 against India at Gqeberha, South Africa. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.